All right, I was giving everyone some time to join us. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jorge Vasquez with Greystone Investment Group, where you invest and we do the rest. Just wanted to give you an update on some of the things that we're doing. Some exciting stuff we're doing recently. A lot has to do with improving the cash flow when we buy a rental property. So it's no secret that most of our investors are looking for the highest cash flow possible. That's why our name is, some of our websites are Homes for Income, Rental for Income. Mainly what we've been doing for the past 15, 20 years is helping people find that cash flow, that supplement to their income, that income they need for retirement. But always one of our main goals has been to create income. All right, with that said, there's different strategies that have evolved as the years pass by and we get better at this. We get better at investing. And one of them in particular is lease options. I want to talk to you guys about what is a lease option, how it could benefit you, how it could benefit your future tenant buyer, and show you that it's a strategy that is a win-win situation for everyone. Okay? So what is a lease option? Pretty much what you're saying to your potential buyer is your buyer doesn't have the credit to get approved right now, either because they started a new job or because they're working on their credit. This is a perfect way for a tenant to put an option on a property, meaning securing today's price today with a commitment of buying the property from the end buyer 2 years from now, from the seller 2 years from now. So that's the benefit for the tenant buyer, that they get to lock on the price today. Let's say the property is selling for $120 today. That tenant buyer locks the property for $120 today versus waiting 2, 3, 4, 5 years on the credit to improve to then make a purchase. Why that's important? Because the factor of inflation and the fact that properties go up in price. So that is the benefit that the lease tenant buyer will have. What is the benefit for you? Well, the biggest benefit for you is that often when you do a lease option, you don't have to worry about some of the maintenance costs that regular tenants have. For instance, repairs. In a lease option, you can say, hey, I'm giving you a good deal. I'm waiting for you to be ready, waiting for you to have your 2 years in your job or be able to get that $650 to $700 so they could have a better terms on their loan. But in exchange, you're going to take care of repairs, you're going to take care of everything. No property management. You also going to get, most of the time, a higher deposit, non-refundable. So once again, you see the tenant's benefit is that they'll lock on the price today. That's the main benefit among other stuff. The biggest benefit for the landlord is that they have less monthly cost, because they don't have to worry about property management, repairs, and things like that. So you can see where, just giving you that example, you can see where somebody with a lease option is probably going to cash flow more than somebody just having a tenant. Because when you have a regular tenant, you have to worry about repairs. You got to worry about property management. There's other stuff that you don't have to worry about on the lease. And by the way, the lease, you could structure it however you want. You could be as creative as you want. You could create a lease option where you tell your buyer, I am committed to selling it to you for 120. But if it goes up more than 50%, if the equity goes more than 50%, there's going to be an area on the contract that says that I'm going to have to, there's going to be some sort of profit sharing. So you could be as creative as you can, as you want to be with the lease option, as long as your tenant is okay with it. So that's the biggest difference between lease option and a regular tenant. So some of the things that we're doing in Greystone that are really, really exciting is that, and this is true, guys, it's gonna sound so good that you're gonna almost gonna think it's not real, but it's real. We have lenders right now, in-house lenders. Pay attention at this because this is insane. That will get you up to that I could get you, let's say you buy a property for 100, I get you most of it financed with the lender. You don't have to worry about two years, you don't have to worry about payments. In the meantime, you could be cash flowing like crazy from a lease option buyer. Another strategy we're doing, and the most popular one now, is that we'll put a property under contract for, let's say, 45 days with a direct seller and find at the same time a buyer investor and a tenant buyer with obviously two different prices. So just to give you an idea, one of the few ones that we did recently was we sold the property to an investor for 100. At the same time, we allocated a lease option buyer for 120. Pretty cool, right? But it gets better. They have no payments, no mortgage payments for 2 years. So that means the owner can pick up, let's say, $1,200 a month for 2 years. If you do the math, let's do the math here real quick. So 1,200 times 24, that's $30,000. So you collect $30,000 with a minimum down payment, because we're going to defer your payments. And then some people are going to say, well, where's that interest going to go? Well, yeah, that's going to go against your equity. But even if, let's say, just for the sake of doing the math here, let's say that the interest rate is $650, interest only a month, because you're getting close to 100%, let's say 80%, whatever the case may be, times 24 is $15,000. So you can see that even going back to the example that I gave you guys earlier, let's say you bought the property for 100. Now you haven't paid any interest payments. 2 years from now, you own the property 115, but you sold the property to the lease option buyer for 120. So in the meantime, you collect 2 years of cash flow, free cash flow, life-changing type of cash flow. I'm not talking about $100. I'm talking about you could do this 2-3 homes and you could be collecting $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month for 2 years, and let your tenant pay it at the end of the term. And in this case, let's say you sold the property for 120, you still come out of it with $5,000 at the end of the 2-year term. Awesome strategy. People are going crazy about this because it provides you instant, huge cash flow with very low risk, because you have an end buyer from day one that's interested in buying the property already. So awesome strategy, guys. We're gonna be killing it with this strategy. If you want more information on how to do this, contact me today. I'm managing $40 million right now. I'm the underwriter. I want to do a ton of these deals with the right people, the people that has experience, the good people that are willing to do this right. We're going to be able to do that for you. So let me summarize again. the advantages of this. We get a lease option. You buy a property, we give you deferred payments for 2 years, up to 80%. So let's say you only put 10, 15,000. Then you get a lease option buyer to buy from you. You have no payments for 2 years. So what happens typically when you do lease option payments? That they're usually larger than regular tenant payments. So in a case where you're collecting $1,000 a month on a regular tenant, on a lease option buyer, there's a chance you could collect $1,200, and you could explain that the fact is that the reason behind it is because you gotta pay taxes, insurance, whatever the case might be. So, but you could get a $1,200 payment a month for 2 years and still have your tenant pay the negative on your equity as your loan goes up, because it's going to go up since you're not making any payments. And by the way, you can make half a payment, you can make a portion of the interest payment if you don't want to take the risk of having that balloon payment in 2 years. It's up to you. But at the same time, you're collecting, in this scenario that I created for you, if you're collecting $1,200 a month times 24 months, that's $28,000. So you get the $28,000, you get the 10 or 15 you put down. Let's call it 20 to be conservative. So you get at the end your 20 back, and you double your money in 2 years. And obviously the whole idea is to help people. We definitely want to sell these properties. We're going to do everything we can to help this lease option buyer buy. But if they default, you can take the property and rinse and repeat the process. Okay? So very exciting. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Eric, yes, we need to talk. Just been kind of crazy. I want to give a shout out to Mylan. Thank you for joining us. Jimmy, ¿qué pasó? Frank Cueto, Beto Terrazzi, Big Lou Torres, Rochelle Glinka. Thank you. Wow, we had like 24 people at one time. Anybody has any questions? I'm going to be around for a little bit to answer any questions for another 6 minutes. But very cool concept, like I said, buying properties with private lending, deferred on the payments while you find a lease option buyer at the same time. Why am I talking about this in January? Because of the obvious. There's a lot of people doing their tax returns now. A lot of people with $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 cash, and those could be your buyers. There's a big disconnect from tenants. There's a lot of tenants out there that do not realize the type of lending opportunities that there are out there. There's more opportunities than ever. There's stated loans again, bank statement only type of loans. There's private lending in place. So one of the reasons why this strategy makes so much sense is because anytime you put a property for sale, you get some inquiries. But anytime you put a property for rent, you get a wave of people. You get a tsunami of people. So imagine this. I've always said if you get, in this case, lemons, which we love our tenants, but it's just a phrase so it makes sense to you in your brain. If we get lemons, let's make a freaking lemonade. Let's make a freaking sangria. The best sangria in the world. So what I mean by that is, if that's what you're getting a ton of, if there's hundreds of people wanting to rent properties, provide that education, create that YouTube video, educate them, and they could become your buyers. Not only you be doing the right thing, helping more people get into ownership, you will make money also as well. So that's why this strategy is so badass. I mean, it's a win-win situation. Anytime you think about buying a rental property, you know that it's very competitive.